Good morning. I'm Frankie Loyal. I'm here at Born Free 15. I'm here with my Trinidad 3 family and my extended family at Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys. I'm going to be doing a series of interviews with people who help contribute, shape, and inspire the motorcycle community, locally, statewide, and globally. I'm here to find out the stories behind the stories, motivations, aspirations, everything that goes on a life of two wheels. So, with that being said, we're going to go kickstands up and let the stories commence, and we'll see where this road takes us. So, right now, I've got Anthony Robinson from Gasoline and Coffee, but he's also an invited builder at Born Free 15, and he's a dear friend. We met at Born Free and managed to stay in contact with our busy schedules. So, I'm here to find out what's been going on with my friend, and he's going to share it with you as well. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Thank you very much for inviting me on this. I appreciate it.
Man, it's good to have you here.
Absolutely.
So, what's going on?
I just finished my build. I'm here set up. Slinging coffee and
Right.
merch and doing my thing.
So,
So I'm blessed and
you're doing
happy.
coffee and you did a build at the same
Yes,
time.
absolutely.
You're
Yeah,
double dipping.
yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
Nice. So I want to hear about this build.
I've always been known as a Triumph guy. I always
Hmm.
built Triumphs, and I did one other Harley prior to this. It was an Ironhead a few years back for the People's Champ. But this is a shovel head. It's a '73 shovel head. My dad picked it up because it was the same year that I was born, and he recently passed away in August. So I
Sorry.
did a bunch of thank you very much. I did a bunch of interviews with him prior to him passing, and wrote a lot of things down and got his point of view of how he wanted everything to look. And then towards the end there, he had said to me, he goes, son, I need you just to put your flavor on it. I know you're a Triumph guy, and I need you to push forward and do what you want to do. And so what I basically did is I took a Harley Davidson frame, and I deraked it 25 to 25 degrees. I took 2.5 inches out of the tail. I narrowed it down to another 3/4 of an inch, and so I lost like 11 inches of wheelbase. I used a Triumph a pre-unit complete front end with shrouds and all, and front drum brake, and Triumph wheels. I used a Triumph oil tank, wassail tank on top. I narrowed it. I took about 2 inches out of that, and put some Triumph bars on there, and it's pretty sweet. I happen to like it, so it's a
Right.
tribute to my dad, obviously. So,
Nice.
I'm happy with it.
So you really came from the heart on that one.
I did, I mean, I call this bike my healing machine, to be honest with you. I mean, like, for me, it actually helped me process the whole thing. My dad's passing and some other things that had happened, or, I had quite
Right.
the rough year, but, it really, really helped me push through and focus. I think for me, this is absolute my healing machine.
Nice.
It helped me push right through positively,
Right.
so
Well, and I do know that because in the talks that we've had, you had a really tight bond and a good relationship with your father. So
yeah.
he was, you were both big fans of each other and supporters of each other
Hmm.
when it came to the craftsmanship and the building.
Yes.
Anything you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so ever since I was knee high to a grasshopper, I mean, like, my dad's always owned motorcycles and stuff, and he's always tinkered around, and I helped him out a lot, and so throughout all of the years, we've always talked about, as I got older, and I always talked to him about, hey, Dad, let's do some builds, I mean, let's build a motorcycle, it's every boy's dream, I suppose. It was mine,
Right.
anyways. So. We started off with black coffee 3 builds ago. He would come out here. He lived in Cedar Woolley, Washington. He would come out, spend 3-4 months with me in the beginning of the build, and get things moving. Then he would fly back home, and then probably a month prior to Born Free, he'd come back out, help me assemble the entire bike, and then he would come here to Born Free with me, and he did this with me for the last 3 years. So he also helped me with some People Champ builds that I did as well. So he was a big fan of what I can produce. And
Right.
also my dad was a 50-year machinist, master
Wow.
machinist. So he could single point all of his hardware and stuff. I mean, he's taught me so much about that, you know, like making your own hardware, presenting it properly, making sure that it's looks good, you know, there's no scratches and what forth. And so I learned a lot from him, you know, and so we had this common bond between each other. Even though we would butt heads, don't get me wrong, there was times that we would butt heads
Right.
tremendously, you know, I mean,
Right.
and you know, my style is very, very skinny, like on a diet, you know, my dad's a little wider. So
Right.
uh, we wouldn't see eye to eye on that, but eventually he started seeing what I was doing, and it was like, okay, you know, I see what you're doing, you know. So it just worked out. I mean, we had such a unique, awesome, amazing relationship, you know, and it wasn't always like that, but the last, I would say the last 7 years, it's been unbelievable.
Right.
You know, I mean, so we really connected and really bonded. So, you know, that's where I'm at with that.
It's amazing. No, it's great because when we would talk about this, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little envious at times because I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always wanted that, and to see how you not only had that with your father, but I know you passed it on with your children too.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You, you know, you're really ahead of the game when it comes to you live right, man.
I try. I do my best.
I think you do very well.
Thank you very much.
So tell me about how's it been for you since you got here at Born Free?
It's as far as today's concerned.
Today's
Oh, okay.
concerned.
Yeah. So I woke up early this morning at 4:45. You know, that's one of the things I try to do every single day is I try to beat the sun.
Right.
It's the most consistent thing in my whole life. You know, I mean, it always shows up. It's always there.
Right.
So for me, it's, you know, I wake up in the morning, I try to do some meditation, I drink some coffee, I get my day going. I came here at 6 o'clock in the morning and started brewing my coffee. I already had everything set up from the day prior.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, I waited for the sun to come up. Finally warmed up the bike enough for me to go out there and wipe it down and
Right.
clean it up. And I went back to my booth and just uh, hit the road running.
How did the coffee come into play? Like,
So I've always loved coffee. I mean, like for forever, and it is as far back as I can remember. I remember like I was a freshman in high school, and I had asked my dad, you know, hey, can I have some coffee? And I remember he would leave enough in the pot for me, you know, every single morning. And I don't know, it was just the flavor of it, the
right.
smell of it. You know, I felt grown up. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I'm drinking coffee with my dad. You know,
That's cool.
like it
That's
just
cool.
it just made me feel, you know, like I had that connection with him of some
Right.
sort. You know, when you're young, you're trying to be more and more like your dad. I mean, for
Right.
me it was, you know, I wanted to be more and more like him. So it started off then, and I just kept going, and then when I got into bike building, I knew I needed something to tie it all together. And I love coffee, and I figured that, you know, the name gasoline and coffee, gasoline fuels our motorbikes,
Right.
coffee fuels me. You know, what a better name for it, you know,
Right.
gasoline and coffee. It's simple, you know. I mean,
And how
so
long has you had this going? Gasoline and coffee.
so I started the name and the whole thing back in 2012. You know, so
It's been more than a minute.
yeah, just yeah, it's been more than a minute for sure.
I remember when you got me some coffee. I'll tell you what, that was really good, especially when we were headed out to Sturgis.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially it was raining a lot last year, and then you
Hmm.
got me that cool little setup where I could actually
Yep.
brew it from the side of the road.
That's right.
Man, that was nice.
Yeah.
That made it feel like home because I'm not gonna lie. When the show ended, last year's when the show ended for us.
Uh-huh.
I was a little bit lost. I was just really
Uh-huh.
like, what am I gonna do with myself now? I'm technically unemployed,
Mm-hmm.
and I was out riding with my guys, and we did this long. We did a longer than normal trip,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of cool because they around. But just the fact that if I don't have coffee, I'm useless. Like, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
really am. I gotta have my coffee. But
Right.
that was such a good token of just like kindness, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. I never forget that. Like I remember this stuff.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So, what do we have in the future? What's going on? What's your next venture?
You know, to be honest with you, I'm gonna relax.
Yeah.
I think at this point, you know, because of the pressure that I had and trying to build the motorcycle, the passing of my pops, and you know, I going through my divorce and
Right.
and moving out and doing my thing, you know. So again, like I said, you know, last year was a really rough year for me. I've already reached the peak. I'm on the other side, you know, so I'm feeling good. I feel relaxed. I think I'm gonna take a year off from building.
Hmm.
I really want to get to some shows and vend and show off my bike that I did in representation of my dad.
Right.
So I mean, I think that's where I'm at right now.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
So in your time of taking some time off, which I know you've had a hell of a year,
Yes.
if people want to reach out to you, social media, any other avenues, what's the best way they can find you?
They could find me on Instagram, Anthony 73 Robinson, or my other gasoline and coffee. They can reach out to those if they want. You know.
So in all your years of riding experience, have you ever had an unfortunate situation? That's the Russ Brown question of the day.
Oh, absolutely. My unfortunate situation was on dirt.
Oh yeah.
So my dad would buy dirt bikes for us all the time,
Nice.
and one of my very first bikes was a '69 70 Honda Trail. They're heavy as can be,
Yeah.
and I really thought me being small and light. I think I was 11, maybe 10 years old. I thought that, I can take some jumps on this.
Right.
So I made this makeshift ramp. I lived on a hill in Moore Park, and at the bottom of the hill, I made this ramp that came off like this, and I full speed ahead all the way out. Spoof, spoof, broke my tooth and smashed my face. And
Man.
it was insane.
So at that young, you had a life changing
Oh,
event,
absolutely. I was like, wow. My dad said, hey, it's going to school you.
right?
It's either a learning voucher or a pay voucher, and you just got a learning one.
I know. Was it the Honda ATCs that they had?
Yeah, we had those too.
Yeah. So my first time, like going down, I actually was in an irrigation ditch,
Uh-huh.
and I was just like going for speed, and
Mm-hmm.
the irrigation road got thinner and thinner. And there was this nice mound of hardened dirt. It was like a berm. Took me up, flipped, went into the irrigation ditch.
Oh,
ATC on top of me.
oh,
That's not the part that scared me. That wasn't the part that got me freaked out. It was when they got the bike out and they pulled me out. I mean, I was shook. I was shook up at it because
mm-hmm.
it was mud and water and whatever. This is a Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
They hosed me down and just the mud would not stop. People might, the people were
Oh,
laughing, but I was like, I think I was like 11 myself. But,
right.
but yeah, that was a crazy time.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I'm so glad I had the chance to get you interviewed here
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
Free 15.
It's my honor. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, but I want to thank you because here's the deal. You're a genuine person. I know that when we've talked about, your builds, and I know
Mm-hmm.
you were under the gun this
Mm-hmm.
time. The relationship with your father, you've had some cards stacked up against you this year. You had some dirt kicked in your face, but every time I talk to you, you just you have a light of perspective. You're always keeping a good attitude about things. And sometimes I'm going like, but maybe I should just shut up and get out of my way about my problems because you always find a way to barrel through,
Mm-hmm.
and good things happen to good people. Great things happen to great people, and that's you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for your build. The bike was beautiful when you
Thank
sent me
you.
the photo.
Thank you.
I'm just excited to see what's going to happen to you in the future because I know it's going to be all good things.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably find an awesome lady. You're
Oh,
gonna have
maybe.
that good downtime. You just wait and see. But
Yeah.
it's an honor to know you, and I'm really, really happy to have had
Thank you very much for that, man.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you so very much, man.
Thanks, brother.
Yep.
Once again, Anthony
absolutely.
Robinson, Gasoline and Coffee.
Frankie Loyal.
And once again, to Russ Brown, Motorcycle Attorneys, thanks a lot for letting us have this platform to do these interviews at Born Free 15. And thanks to Mike Davis and Grant. We
Yes.
appreciate being here. Y'all have a good day and stay safe out there.